सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओं. In the previous class, Krishna Paramatma gave dhyana pratibandhakas and pratibandhaka pariharas. In spite of so much support from Paramatma, Arjuna is developing more and more pessimism. So he says, though you say that disciplining the mind is possible, I don't see any possibility. So he complains about his wavering mind, that is vikshepa. So in specific, though there are 4 pratibandhakas like laya, kashaya, rasaswada and vikshepa, only Arjuna had the problem of vikshepa, that is wavering mind. So he says, this is very difficult. Vayoho iva sudushkaraha, he says. It appears very difficult, like holding the wind. You cannot hold the wind. Wind is, very powerful. So Arjuna expresses his difficulty in controlling his mind. Then Paramatma gave 2 wonderful suggestions. First, he admitted, he said whatever Arjuna told is correct. He said, this is really difficult. But then it is not impossible. Difficult, no doubt, but not impossible. You can achieve this by 2 methods. Method number 1 is called abhyasam. Method number 2 is called vairagyam. Abhyasam means you have to have concentration on the subject of your liking. This anybody will have. Nobody can say that I don't have concentration. For that matter, Arjuna has got the utmost concentration when it comes to archery. So that way, according to your liking, you will have concentration. People say, I don't have memory, I don't have concentration. But if they are into stock market, you ask them what is the current price of some script. Immediately, they come out with the ready answer. This is because they are interested in that. If you are interested in a particular field, naturally that concentration you will get. That to utmost concentration. This anyway we have discussed in the last class. Now, how to develop concentration in the desired field, like spirituality. Spirituality, nobody will get interest right from the birth. It is very rare thing, like Prahlada and other people who are yoga brashtas, they will get the bhakti from the birth itself. But others, they should realize that they have a problem, and to address their problem, the spirituality is the only remedy. So in order to develop the interest in the spirituality, they must read books, they go to satsangs, they should attend pravachanas of Mahatmas. Likewise, like that, they have to develop interest in the spiritual field, and then automatically they will get interest. So if they get interest, then naturally they can concentrate more. Now the question is, this kind of spirituality is also becomes an addiction. Generally, the word addiction we don't like. But for people, the spirituality is also an addiction. But then there is a technical name for this. This is called subhavasana. One should have good addiction and avoid bad addiction, asubhavasana. Asubhavasana is all mundane affairs, mundane attitudes. So as you grow, as you become more and more mature, you should try to have vairagyam for asubhavasanas and abhyasam for subhavasana. So this is what Paramatma advised. Then again, Arjuna got a doubt. Still he is lingering in that pessimism. So he thought, supposing I cannot achieve it, whatever Paramatma says, I cannot cope it up. That is not my cup of tea. So if that be the case, what will be my fate? Where will I go? Where do I take birth in the next Janma? Will I go to some Narakalokas and get some Hina Janma and all that? Do I need to start from the scratch? These were the questions lingering in the mind of Arjuna. So he posed a number of questions pertaining to the spiritual fall in this Janma. If a person cannot achieve the ultimate goal in this Janma, what will be the fate of such sadhaka in the next Janma? So that was the question. Such person is called Yoga Brashta. So for a Yoga Brashta, what will be his future? So that was the question. So Paramatma is going to answer. In this portion today, we will see the Arjuna's questions and Paramatma's answers. We are in chapter 6 and we have completed up to 37th sloka. We'll just go through 37th sloka again and go forward. Arjuna vacha ayati sraddhayopeto yogachirita manasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim krishna gacchati. Arjuna vacha, he Krishna, Shraddhaya upetaha ayatihi yogat chirita manasaha yoga samsiddhim aprapya kam gatim gacchati. Arjuna vacha means Arjuna asked, Hey Krishna, upetaha shraddhaya, one who is endowed with faith, ayatihi, but whose effort is insufficient, not adequate. Chalita manasaha means whose mind is wavering, whose mind has strayed away. Yogat, strayed away from the dhyana yoga. Aprapya, yoga samsiddhim, having not attained the dhyana phalam, the result of dhyana yoga. Kam gacchati, so such person, what does he attain? Arjuna asked, O Krishna, suppose there is one who is endowed with faith, but whose effort is insufficient and whose mind has strayed away from dhyana yoga. Having not attained the result of dhyana yoga, what goal does he attain? That was the question. With the previous verse, Paramatma concluded his answer to Arjuna's question. Arjuna's question was how to handle the wavering mind, the problem of restlessness during meditation. We call it technically vitshepam. How to handle vitshepa. Paramatma has given the solution. Abhyasam and Vairagyam. Two methods to win over the mind, to master the mind or to discipline the mind. One has to do abhyasam. Abhyasam means you should improve more and more subhavasanas and develop vairagyam for asubhavasanas, unhealthy habits, non-spiritual activities and attitudes. You should have vairagyam. And for spiritual activities and attitudes, you should develop abhyasam. So with this, the dhyana, pratibandha and parihara topic is over. In fact, with this, the 6th chapter dealing with meditation is complete. Om Tat Sat should have come. But then Arjuna poses a question again. The most unfortunate thing is, in spite of all the encouragement Paramatma is giving, Arjuna continues to be more pessimistic. Therefore, he begins to feel that I do not make it in this janma. I cannot achieve it in this janma. So he thinks that getting moksha is an impossible thing for him. He is so pessimistic, he can make others also pessimistic. And this pessimism or self-diffidence is another human weakness. That is why in the beginning of the 6th chapter, Paramatma clearly said, Uddaret Atman Atmanam Atmanam Avasadayet. Never look down upon yourself. Never be diffident. Because if I do not have self-confidence, if Atma Krupa is not there, then even God cannot help. Because we will argue with God. Argue with what? I cannot succeed in this life. In this janma, I cannot make it. Therefore, even God becomes helpless. Gurus become helpless. Shastram becomes helpless. So, if you have decided that you cannot accomplish this in this janma, it is very difficult to handle. And therefore, Paramatma repeatedly tells, faith in oneself is the most important thing. But in spite of that, Arjuna continues to be diffident. Therefore, his conclusion is, I cannot achieve this. I cannot achieve moksha in this janma. He is very sure about it. So he is worried, what is my lot in the next janma? So he continues his doubt up to 39th sloka, 37, 38, 39, all the 3 slokas are Arjuna's pessimism slokas. So he wanted to know, if a sadhaka fails in achieving moksha in this janma, what will be the fate? What will be his lot in the next janma? Where will he go? Will he get hina janmas? So that was the doubt. In Shastra, such person is called yoga brashta. So this is an important portion. Though is a pessimism, this question is very useful because this question lingers in most of the sadhaka's mind. So it will clear the doubts of the sadhakas. Both the optimist and pessimist they contribute to the society. Optimist invented airplane, pessimist invented parachute. So both are required. So this way, though it is pessimistic question, it helps the sadhakas in gaining confidence. Why one becomes yoga brashta, if you question, there are three pratibandhakas. Adi daivika pratibandhakam, the supernatural force. Rahu, Ketu, Shani, all these dashas will cause obstruction to the sadhaka. Therefore, he may not achieve the goal. Then we have Adi Bhautika Pratibandhaka, obstacles from the surroundings, from the peer group, from the relatives, from his family members, from his surroundings. Then Adhyatmika Pratibandhaka, obstacles from oneself, illness. Suppose he loses hearing, the hearing capacity, then he cannot attend classes, he cannot do Sravana. So, Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidevika Pratibandhaha san, saha ayatihi bhavati. Ayatihi means not able to cope up with the sadhana. Alpa prayatnaha bhavati. And therefore, yogat chelita manasaha. So he is taken away from the sadhana. Such person is called yoga brashta. What will happen to him? Yoga samsiddhim aprapya. Samsiddhim means moksha phalam. Samsiddhim here means the phalam of what? Yoga. Yoga means spiritual sadhana. Phalam of spiritual sadhana is what? Moksha. And this moksha phalam aprapya. He could not attain moksha in spite of sincerity because of various reasons. Aprapya yoga samsiddhim. Because of sometimes Guru is not available. That is why in Shastra they say, Durlabam trayamevaitat devanugraha hetukam manushyatvam mumutshutvam mahapurusha samsrayaha. So, to get human birth itself is a great task. To get human birth itself is a rarity. And then to think of moksham, to come into the fold of spirituality, is again a rare thing. And after getting into the spiritual fold also, to get a Brahmanishta Guru is the rarest thing. Mahapurusha samsrayaha. So, this way he must have become yoga brashta. So, for such person, kam gacchati, kam gatim gacchati. So, such yoga brashta, where will he go after the death? Will he take up hina janmas? That was the question. He continues his question further. Kachinno bhaya vibrashta chinna brahmiva nasyati apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmana pati. Hey mahabaho, brahmana pati apratishtaha vimudaha ubhaya vibrashtaha chinna brahmiva nanasyati kaschit. O Mahabaho, O Krishna, Ubhaya Vibrashtaha, fallen from both, Vimudaha, deluded, Pati, Brahmanaha, in the pursuit of Brahman, Kaschit, does not, Apratishtaha, Nasyati, the supportless, this apratishtaha nasyati. So he will not get the desired result. How is the situation? Chinna abram iva, like a scattered cloud. O Krishna, fallen from the deluded, fallen from yoga and karma, and deluded in the pursuit of Brahman, does not the supportless yogi perish like scattered cloud? In the previous verse, Arjuna had said that the seeker of insufficient effort will not attain moksha because he could not put forth full effort. Then we have to supply another idea which is not said here. And what is that? Because he came to Jnana Marga and he did not perform karma, which would have given him Swargaloka. So karma phala rupam swargamapi nasti. This idea Arjuna did not say, we have to supply this. Why he did not say about the Swarga? Because Swarga is a result of karma phalam. Why he does not have karma phalam? Because he does not have karma. Why he does not have karma? Because he spent all the time in Jnana Marga, in listening to Shastra. Therefore, karma phala rupa swargam api nasti. Now, what is his condition? Apratishtaha. The second line, apratishtaha. He does not have the support of punyam, which could have given him swarga. He does not have the support of jnanam also, which could have given him moksha. Therefore, apratishtaha, punya jnana rahitaha, karmanaha abhavat punya rahitaha, jnanasya abhavat moksha rahitaha. These two supports he does not have. Therefore, apratishtaha. So he loses both. Vibrashtaha. Therefore, what will be his lot? Chinnabram iva nasyati. So his condition can be compared to a small cloudlet which is separated from the big cloud. So when the cloud is big enough, however the wind blows, it can move a little, but it cannot, create a havoc in the cloud. Whereas if a small cloudlet separates from the big one, that cloudlet can be shattered by the wind. So now the sadhaka's position is like this, like a chinnabram. Therefore, he wants to know what is the fate of such person. Then 39th sloka. Etanme samsayam Krishna chetumarhasya seshatah tvadvanya samsayasyasya cheta hyupapadyate. Hey Krishna, me etat samsayam tvam aseshataha chetum arhasi. Hi tvat anyaha samsayasya asya cheta na upapadyate. Now Arjuna is resorting to Krishna Paramatma and praising him. O Krishna, arhi chetasim chetum, you should remove etat samsayam, this doubt of mine. Aseshataha, completely without any balance. Na upapadyate cheta asya samsayasya. there cannot be no other person who is competent to remove this doubt like you. O Krishna, you should remove this doubt of mine thoroughly, completely, without any balance. For there cannot be a remover of this doubt other than you. Arjuna is so desperate. He says, Hey Krishna, I have a great fear. I feel sorry, for I have come to Vedanta now. Hey Krishna, etat sansayam chetum arhasi. You should destroy this doubt of mine, because if I am going to be a Trishanku, instead of coming here, at least I can try to do some puja. Even though moksha may not come, at least some punya may come. So now I am not doing puja, and also I am unable to absorb your teaching. If knowledge also does not come out of your teaching, at least I could have done some Vishnu Sahasranama Parayanam, Puja, Japam and all that. I could have done that. All that is not there. Etat samsayam, this Trisankutva samsayam, this doubt of self-destruction or spiritual fall, etat samsayam, you have to clarify me. Now the word this etat samsayam is grammatically not correct, because the word samsayam is in masculine gender. This etat samsayam, etat cannot gel with samsayam. Samsayam is in the masculine gender, this is in the neuter gender. Therefore, it should be etam samsayam. But however, this is directly from Vyasa Maharshi, so we cannot find fault in grammar. So such prayogam is called Arsha prayogam. We cannot correct the scripture. Some people, they think that it is a print mistake and they print this particular sloka as etam samsayam. In some books it appears like that. Now it is the turn of Bhagavan to answer the questions of Arjuna. So Bhagavan is now answering. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Pardhanaivehana Botra Vinasastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krut Kaschid Durgam Tata Gacchati. He Partha, Bhagavan Uvacha, He Partha, Na Iha, Na Evacha, Amutra, Tasya Vinasaha Vidyate. He Tata, Hi Kaschit Kalyana Krut Durgatim Nagachati. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Lord answered, Partha, O Arjuna, Na eva iha, neither here, na amutra, nor hereafter, vidyate vinasaha, is there destruction. Tasya hi, for him, kaschit, because kalyana krut, a doer of good, na gacchati durgatim, does not attain an evil end. Tata, O my son. Tata is actually father, but here Tata means we have to take it as beta. Like Are Baba will say, Are Baba means Baba is beta then. In Telugu also say Adikadura Nana. Nana is not actually Nana, it is only addressing with a closeness. So Lord answered, O Arjuna, neither here or hereafter is there destruction for him. There is no vinasanam for him, because a doer of good does not attain any evil end. So that is the promise, that is the abhayam given by Paramatma. Krishna Paramatma gives a consolation to Arjuna. Do not worry, we will see the result later. First, I am telling you, do not worry. Then he gives the answer. I will give you the gist of the answer. The idea is this: suppose a person comes to Jnana Marga. What is Jnana Marga? Serious study of scriptures in three-course way: Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. And certainly it is different from the regular karma, like Sandhya Vandanam, Nama Japa, etc. So you are not doing those regular religious activities now. At this moment, you are studying Gita or Upanishad, whatever the case may be. Now the Shastra says, Vedanta Sravanam has got twofold benefits. One is called Mukhya Phalam, primary benefit. The second one is called Avantara Phalam, or the byproduct. When an industry manufactures a product, in the process of manufacturing the product, certain byproducts also do come. Like you have a coconut tree in the house. The primary advantage is getting coconuts. The secondary advantage is you get the leaves, you get the shade, you get the, that firewood, like that. In the similar way, the mango tree can give you mangoes, that is the primary advantage. The secondary advantage, shade, it can give you coolness. It can give you the leaves which are useful to decorate the house during festivals. So like that, there are so many avantara phalams. In the same way, you get avantara phalam in the case of this jnanam also. Madhusudana Saraswati says, you get punyam in doing this kind of Sravanam. So, the Kalyana Krut, if a person happen to do this kind of good work, it will never go waste. A noble action like listening to Gita will never go waste. It will give you punyam. Punyam will be the avantara phalam. Listening to Gita is the primary thing. The punyam is the side effect or the secondary benefit you get along with the jnana. So that is why Chinmayananda, he named Gita Sravanam as Jnana Yajnam. He used to call it as Jnana Yajnam. Initially, people used to think that there may be some havan and lot of these rituals do take place. When they come there, they were taken by surprise that it is only the spiritual speech, the Gita Bodha. So this Sravanam also gives the secondary benefit called Punya. 41st sloka will see. prapya punyakrutam lokan ushvita saswati samaha suchinam srimatam gehe yoga brashto bijayate. Yoga brashtaha punyakrutam lokan prapya tatra saswati samaha ushvita suchinam srimatam gehe abhijayate. So, the sadhaka who does this kind of listening, this kind of sravanam for a long time, because of his punyam, whatever the punyam he has earned, he will go to the higher realms of heaven and enjoy the punyam. Whatever the punyam he gained, so with that punya balam, he will go to the higher realms and enjoy the swarga phalam. After finishing that swargaloka phalam, he will take birth in a rich family, rich and cultured family. Srimatam gehe abhijayate. So he is born in a rich and cultured family. The rich and cultured family means the family is rich enough so that he will not have any financial problem and he can pursue his study. Wherever he stopped, he can continue the thread. Second thing, the family is cultured. Cultured means, here the word cultured means the Vedic family. The family which respects the Vedic knowledge and which encourages Vedic studies. So such rich family is born into. So he get good ambience and then he continues his study. So this is option 1. First option is he can spend all the punyam in the punyalokas, and having spent his punyam, he will take again birth in a rich and cultured family. Because it is rich and cultured family, he will not have any kind of financial difficulty. His journey will be smooth and troubleless. So he can continue his Sravanam, Mananam, Didhyasanam from the point where he stopped in the previous Janma. Then, what is the other alternative? There is one more alternative Paramatma wants to say. We'll see what it is. Athava yogina meva kule bhavati dhimatam etaddi durlabhataram loke janma yadidrusam. Athava dhimatam yoginam eva kule bhavati yat etat idrusam janma loke durlabham hi. The second alternative is he is born into a family where there will be all Brahma Nishtas. So he can have a good ambience. He can have the Guru in the house itself. So he can continue his Vedantic pursuit in the house itself. So that is the greatest advantage. So here Idrusam, he takes such a birth. Yad etat, as this Durlabham loke. So such a birth is very, very rare in this world. Paramatma saying the second option is very difficult. In Shankara Bhashyam, Shankara Bhagavad says he is born in a poor family. Poor family is the rarest thing, he says. Durlabhataram. So out of the two options, Bhagavad Pada says the second option is a better option because he will not have temptations which a money can create. So he can directly go into the spiritual sadhana and achieve the goal in no time. So this is the advantage. So in this particular chapter, this Yoga Brashta portion, which is very important, Paramatma discussed this in 3 points. First, he said, there is no difficulty for a Yoga Brashta. Whatever the good he does, he is entitled for the punyam that he has earned. So, he will go to the punyaloka depending on the punyam he has earned. This punyam also, Madhusudana Saraswati says, the Sravanam will give you a greater punyam compared to the karma kanda. He says, 1 minute of punyam is equal to hundreds of yagas. So you can imagine how much of punyam you will get by mere Sravanam, Gita Sravanam or Upanishad Sravanam. So such a punyam he has acquired as a byproduct, as an avantara palam. With that punyam, he is entitled for punyalokas. So he goes to the punyalokas and he will have that punya phalam exhausted. So all that sukham which is born out of punyam, he has exhausted, and then he takes birth again. So when he takes the birth again, Paramatma says there are 2 options. The first option is Srimatam Gehe. This word Srimatam Gehe means merely not rich people, rich and cultured people. The word Sri is Sampada, Sri is also culture. So Srimatam Gehe. So he is into a family of rich and people who lead the Vedic lifestyle, who lead a life of Vedanta Jivana Vidhanam. So such people, they are into spirituality, and the person will not have any problem of money. He need not struggle to earn money and to feed his stomach. Already everything is built. So everything is a ready platter for him. So for him, that platform is ready. So only thing is he has to continue his pursuit. So he can get in touch with a guru and then continue his study. And then complete the balance part and attain moksha. The second alternative is he is born in a family of poor and Brahmanishtas. Out of the two, Shankara Bhagavad Pada prefers the second option as a better choice. Durlabhataram, he says. Durlabhataram, Paramatma also said this is Durlabhataram. Krishna Paramatma said Durlabhataram because in the second option, the temptations of money will not be there. Because if you have money, there is a possibility that the person may be taken away from his path. He may be into luxuries, into all mundane things. So that kind of distraction will not be there in the second case. So that is the advantage he has. So in this particular portion, Yoga Brashta, Paramatma clarifies Arjuna that he is not going to lose anything. So wherever he stops, he can start again in the next janma. Absolutely, there is no loss for a spiritual seeker. That is the abhayam Paramatma has given, which is a wonderful note everybody should understand. In fact, if you look back, we can all, consider ourselves as yoga brashtas, because we must have done some homework in the previous janmas and could not achieve the moksha. Therefore, we are now continuing that spiritual pursuit in this janma, and we are sure to reach the goal in this janma because we have reached the Advaita path. Shankara Bhagavad Pada promises Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti for Brahmanishtas. So we can enjoy the Ananda here and now and get out of this samsara chakra. Majority of the people, most of the people do acknowledge they already started getting this advantage. Mere Gita Sravanam, as Avantara Phalam they say, no? Mere Gita Sravanam can also give you a kind of ananda, because for other spiritual activities, if you have any problem, you get some kind of relief in doing bhajan, in doing some ritual and all that, but your problems are not answered. Problem remains same. You get some kind of relief if you do some homam or sit in a temple or do some bhajan. Then you get a relief, a temporary relief. But the Gita Sravanam, the advantage is you are directly listening to Paramatma. Paramatma is speaking to you. He is keeping Arjuna as a buffer. The real person is you. He is talking to you. He gives abhayam. Paramatma gives abhayam every now and then and assures you that you will get moksha. So that is why you see that Mahatmas, they carry Bhagavad Gita with them. Like Mahatma Gandhi used to carry Bhagavad Gita with him. And many people who carry Bhagavad Gita, they utter that whenever they have a problem, they open a page and read, they get the answer. So this is because this is the only place where Paramatma speaks to us. So we can all get the benefit of this, and in most of the cases, people do say that our problem is answered today in your class. People ring up and say, today our problem is solved. I sat with such and such problem, the problem is answered. It is not because of the Guru, it is the greatness of the Gita. Bhagavan himself spoke there. So the Shakti is there to answer all our questions. Here in this particular portion, the doubt of Yoga Brashta is cleared. So with this, we'll close today. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।